Mike's bad day. One day, Mike was sitting in the shed in the morning, and the manager arrived. Mike, I have an important job for you.
Yes, sir. What is it, sir?
You will be taking a passenger train down past the watermill.
What? Passengers? That's not fair. I don't want those things.
Mike has a dislike to passengers, but I'll save that story for another day. Anyway, when Mike pulled up to the passenger train, he whistled loudly.
All aboard, you mangy mongrels!
Passengers were very offended. Well, I never! What a rude engine! I'm sorry about Mike, said Bert, who was sitting next to him.
Hello, Bert,
Mike suddenly said, smiling. How are you doing? I'm doing quite fine, actually. Of course, you're not.
Hey! Don't speak to me like that, Bertie.
Oh, no, forget it. Say, do you know an engine named Cuthbert? I met him yesterday.
Well, I do know an engine that was scrapped who was named Cuthbert. I don't know what happened to him after that. They say he roams the rails.
Ugh, be quiet. With that, Mike set off with his passenger train, but as they were going, meanwhile, up ahead, Jock was taking a train of cement. He was passing the watermill as well, and this cement was leaking. It left a small trail, and it was small enough for engines to still go. But finally, when he arrived at the bridge, there was a thick pour. Jock looked back, but he didn't. There was a big pour that fell out. Jock didn't look back as he continued on his way, and Mike was heading straight for the cement. As he was going, the passengers were taking photos and asking him to slow down. He had to go slower and slower as his driver decreased his speed. This is the worst day ever. Mike was continuing on, trying to pretend to be happy, but he really wasn't. He had a wink on his face, and the passengers just didn't see it. Suddenly, he saw something on the track. Is that cement? The cement was a little wet, but had dried a bit off, and now Mike was heading straight towards the cement. Oh, no, I don't want my life to end this way. He suddenly smashed into the wet cement, and rushed down the hill by the bridge. There was a lake and a watermill. The passengers screamed as Mike careened into the watermill. No coupling was detached. The entire train was off the tracks. Passengers were not hurt, and they weren't injured. They were just startled and bumped like peas in a frying pan. Now Mike was stuck in the creek. And with that, Blister 1 and 2 were too busy to help. So Bert had to come with Rex. But Rex was too busy, and it was just Bert and Blister 1. With that, Blister 1 had an idea. It's similar to the one I had a few days ago with Mike when he crashed near the pier. You know, it is absolutely funny. First, an area near a lake, and now a creek. What's next? The ocean? Bert laughed. But little did he know he would be getting something bad. Anyway, Blister 1 began to pull the coaches back up, and Mike was carefully maneuvered by the men again. With that, Bert was now the only one heaving Mike, as Blister 1 and Blister 2 have the strength to do it, but only one blister wouldn't be enough. So with that, Bert pulled and pulled until finally Mike was almost at the top. Suddenly, the cable snapped. Luckily, Blister 1 was attached to it too, as they were both working together. So it was still attached to Blister 1, but it was on the left, and Bert was pulling from the right, as they were both attached to a buffer as Blister 1 was on the left, and Bert was on the right. They had attached one to each buffer and were pulling hard. It seemed it didn't work. Blister 1 tried his best to pull him up until Bert's driver could put another cable on, and with that they pulled harder, and finally Mike was at the top. And when he was put back onto the tracks, he was taken to the shed. The shed was kind of their works too, but if they had received a lot of damage, they would be sent to the Sodor Road and Rail society. Anyway, Mike was brought to the shed, and the manager understood it wasn't Mike's fault, so he didn't give any punishment. I'm so sorry I didn't handle my cement. I should have been focusing even more. I'm sorry. It's all right, said Mike. I can understand. It's a simple mistake. I see you've grown softer, Mike, said Bert. Yes, I've decided that I shouldn't be so rude on everybody, said Frank. But that's a story for another day, too. Anyway, Mike smiled as they all went to sleep. Frank eyed Mike. One of these days, Mike, you're gonna get what you deserved after what you said on that faithful day when Jock was new and I was taken to the works. You are a filthy machine, and I hope you die in